Let the Right One In as a coming-of-age film. Tomas Alfredson's 2008 release of Let the Right One In is a vampire film that offers more than the bloody horrors one might expect, but the union into another genre as well. This genre reveals itself to be coming of age, as Let the Right One In shares many of its same conventions, such as school setting, a social hierarchy, sexual awakening, a maturing character journey. Vampire films, birthed in the horror genre, have been branching out into genre hybrids since Dracula could mesmerize his audiences, with his introduction to cinema occurring in 1931 with Bela Lugosi's performance as Dracula, directed by Todd Browning. The vampire character has been one that cinephiles have latched onto, reinvigorating it with each new rendition by adding new tropes, storylines, themes, and tones.
Then who was flickering the lights? Nosferatu!
Vampire hybrid films now have something to offer any audience or individual, including the coming-of-age audience. Let the Right One In serves as an exemplary example of the vampire coming-of-age film. A coming-of-age genre convention, as well as an integral part of the film's narrative, is the presence of the schoolyard social hierarchy. The adolescent character, Oscar, routinely faces distress in the form of his classmates, Connie and his two lackeys. Connie serves as the top of the food chain, coaching his two friends into bullying and trouble habitually directed at Oscar. Oscar's time at the school and community center is usually spent trying to avoid an altercation with these boys, as he finds himself at the bottom of this food chain. This idea of cliques and hierarchy in the school setting is ever prevalent in the coming-of-age genre, producing an endless list of examples such as Mean Girls and The Breakfast Club, whose characters are confined to their groups and social status.
He can't stick with us!
The very first scene in the film shows Oscar repeating, "Squeal, squeal like a pig," while jabbing the air with a knife, seeming to threaten an imaginary foe, who later becomes less imaginary as his mantra to this foe leads back to Connie's tauntings towards him.
Har grisen plötsligt blivit modig? Jag åker fram till dig och puttar ner dig. Du kommer inte göra någonting. Har jag rätt eller?
This display of imitating dangerous behavior expresses a desire to appear older and more mature, a desire shared by many youth in their years of development, resonating with the coming-of-age genre. This mock violence later comes to fruition when Oscar defends himself for the first time with a stick, whacking Connie on the side of the head with it. Oscar is playing with the bounds of authority while also having enough confidence to defend himself for the first time. As Oscar matures socially, we also watch as he begins to experience romanticism for the first time. Sexuality is by no means new to either the vampire subgenre or the coming-of-age genre, and is heavily present throughout Let the Right One In. Oscar meets our vampire character Eli, a mysterious girl who just moved into the same apartment complex. He seems to take a quick fascination with her, coming out at night to talk with her. As he develops his schoolyard crush by copying down Morse code to communicate with her for longer periods of time through their shared wall of their apartments, she is murdering members of the community to feed on, all unknown to Oscar. Even after he discovers this curse of hers, he still stands by her to protect her, following the trope that adolescent love causes young people to perceive the world through a set of rose-colored glasses, blinded and inexperienced to the horrors happening just across from them. Later in the film, Oscar's juvenile curiosity takes over him as he peeks at a changing Eli. The childlike idea of the other sex as a mystery fuels Oscar's curiosity, as well as Eli's bizarre lifestyle and behavior. Let the Right One In presents a compelling vampire coming-of-age story through the character of Oscar as he navigates his school, social environment, and budding love for another. Oscar comes to the other side of this narrative almost a completely different child. His perception of the world has changed so direly with the assistance of Eli. We see this in the scene in which Oscar contemplates murdering a man for Eli's safety. He is seen dropping his knife that he held so readily in the beginning of the film, signaling his shift in outlook on violence and defending oneself. Through these life-changing and violent experiences, Oscar becomes more mature, losing some of his childlike traits, and psychologically maturing by the end of the film. Vampire coming-of-age movies present a whole new set of questions and perspectives when approaching either genre. The union of these two genres proposes new concepts, feelings, and possible narratives through the contrast of the tradition and the trepidation of vampire films, and the wide, youthful spectrum of coming-of-age topics. Let the Right One In introduces a unique and interesting glimpse at the world of a child vampire, and the children they might share their coming-of-age story with. Thank you for watching. I'm Hattie, and that was Let the Right One In as a coming-of-age film.